to episode, I believe, 11 of the Little Wolf Knits podcast. I am coming to you from my cozy yarn nook in my apartment in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. My name is Brianna and I am the dyer, designer, candle pourer. Is there another name for candle pourer? I think there should be. Behind the Little Wolf Knits. And I am so happy to be joining you. I'm happy, to be joining you, hanging out with you. Today on Wednesday, October 20th? Is that correct? I think it's the 21st. I think my watch is wrong. It is about 6 o'clock. We just had a little happy hour snack outside on the balcony, and Michael is inside playing video games, so I decided I would check in with y'all and record a short little podcast. I don't have too much to show, but I'm excited about what I have. I guess a few things before we get started. One, I am drinking it's called Falling. It's a sour ale by Lost Tavern, which is a small local brewery not too far from my house. It's really great. If you're ever in the area, go check it out. It is a sour ale with apple, cranberry, cinnamon, vanilla, and brown sugar. So feeling all the cozy fall vibes, which I think really captured all of my whips today. And my cow pumpkin, if you can see, that we painted 2 weekends ago, maybe. It's so cute, I love it. Some of the paint's peeling off because we just used house paint and what we had in the garage. But it sits on our table and I really love it. And that is next to me. And I also have one of my candles next to me. And this one is pecan pie. And smells really good. And this one is part of my fall In Stars Hollow candle set. I believe it is apple cider donut, pecan pie, and there's one other one. Apple cider donut, pecan pie. It's not gingerbread because that's in the other one. I don't know. Go check it out in my shop. I can't think of it right now. I'm sure it'll come to me in a minute. But speaking of that, I am putting together 3 scents for my winter collection. I think I'm going to continue to offer candles like that in the shop for now. So there's going to be a 3 candle bundle option, and basically there'll be 3 scents for that season. There'll be a pre-order and they'll go out at the beginning of every month during that period. And you'll have the option, if you buy more than one, you get a few dollars off because why not? Because I want everyone to have all the cozy candles. And so I'm really excited about some of the winter ones. I think chocolate mint is an option. I think hot cocoa is going to be an option. Maybe gingerbread feels really winter. Maybe snickerdoodle, maybe I'll have 4 cents for that one. I don't know, I guess we'll just see. But I'm super excited because I'm loving these candles and making so many for myself. I always have one burning, and they're so great. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Some things that are coming up for you to know about. So I don't have any cows running at the moment, but one is starting very soon actually. And it's called my Self-Care Collaborative. And I'm gonna think about a hashtag. It might be Self-Care Collaborative 2020, since it's starting in 2020, but it's going to run from November 1st through right now, the beginning of March. And I'm thinking that might be a good time to cap it. So it'll be 4 months. And I'm certainly hoping this is going to be at least an annual thing, if not like maybe biannual, if there's interest. And so really what that means, it's going to be anything that is working on taking care of yourself, whether it's a knitted project, a crochet, woven, tapestry, sewing, any sort of craft, or if it's something that's outside of crafts and it's a book that you're reading, or a difficult conversation you had, or something that's really just recharging your battery. I want it to count toward the self-care collaborative. It feels really important this year. It feels really important this time of the year in particular, through the holidays, and I think people sometimes forget about themselves. And so I'm really hoping that this cal will help all of us remember to prioritize ourselves and take care of ourselves, at least have ourselves on our list. And what that cal is going to include is actually an interview every single week with a different maker, either live or pre-recorded. It's going to kind of depend, or we'll just chat a little bit about what self-care looks like for that person, what their self-care journey has looked like, some of the challenges they face and how they kind of work through those. And I'm really excited for everyone to join along in this journey with all of us and hear about different corners of our community and our craft. And just share a little bit of love and maybe some tips, but also I think just sharing and knowing that you're not alone in the struggles that you're going through, and feeling like you have a little bit of permission to take care of yourself during a strange time of the year. So I'm super excited about that. That one's coming really soon, and definitely keep an eye out because the first one is with a really, really fun maker and friend of mine. I think everyone that we have for this lineup is amazing, but I'm really excited to call the first person my personal friend. And you definitely know her, and you might know her for her hooks or her needles. Do you know who it is? Drop a comment below if you think you know who the first week is going to be with, and I am so excited. I hope you come back and join us. I think that's all the administrative things at this point. Then, I know we talked a little bit about candles, mostly because I was sidetracked, but then maybe I'll wait till the end and talk about some yarns that are in the shop or coming up, some patterns that are coming out, and obviously I'll talk about them as I go along if they come up. And so let's just jump into it. Grab a beverage, any kind of beverage, and grab your knitting, crochet, your crafting, and let's go. Okay, first of all, let's start with, what am I wearing? One is new, one is not. Let's start maybe chronologically, and then it'll swing us into FOs. So what am I wearing on my feet? Can y'all tell? It's my Oi with the Poodles Already Socks. And this is the second sock from my Gilmore Girls collection. This is in my Lorelai Gilmore sock set. So this main color is Give Her Coffee and She'll Go Away. This brownish purple mini is called Coffee, Coffee, Coffee. And then this really soft yellow that's on the heel, and this little accent is 1,000 Yellow Daisies. If you want to see better shots, go check out my Instagram at thelittlewolfknits, or my Etsy shop at thelittlewolfknits.etsy.com, and I have way better photos. And this was part of the collection that the Yarn and Charm Club, I should say, that I'm doing with Little Bitty Delights, Amanda. She makes amazing charms, and this was the second month. So if y'all remembered, the Flannel Shirt Socks came out almost a month ago at this point. If you didn't see them, go back, watch an older video. I talk about them all the time, and I have a trailer where you can just check out the socks and some of the testers versions of the socks in a really cute way. And that's available on Ravelry and Etsy. So this second sock I'm wearing because I finally took my video and my photos, which means I can get them nice and worn in. And that means the pattern is coming very soon. When I mean very soon, I mean like this week. I got the charms in yesterday. I packaged up orders yesterday afternoon. They went out in the mail today. And so folks who ordered with the club, you got the yarn, the charm, and the free pattern included in your order. You will be getting contacted by me very, very soon with a code to get your order, your pattern either on Ravelry, or I could send you the PDF if that's easier for you, if Ravelry is not accessible to you right now. If you haven't gotten a copy yet, like I said, it's available on Ravelry or Etsy, and if either of those options don't work for you, reach out and let me know, and I will make sure we figure out how to get you that pattern. But these socks are so cozy. 1x1 rib, there's a fun bobble detail that you could omit if you don't want to do bobbles, but I think it's really cute. This lacy sort of garter chevron that's really fun and textured, a garter stitch heel flap and gusset, and then a garter stitch toe. So lots of texture, lots of cozy, super bold, super bright, definitely very Lorelei, and I love them. Keep an eye out for those. Like I said, follow me on Instagram. You'll see more about the release and when that goes live. But I'm thinking and hoping I can get it done by this Friday, which means once that goes live, those yarns will be available individually in the shop to order for anyone who didn't get the kit or just wants a single skein of any of the 3 colorways that were created for this month. And is that all I have to say about that? Can you hear Michael? Sure, that's all I have to say for now. We'll hear a little bit more about Gilmore Girls later. The second thing I'm wearing is new, and you might have seen a sneak peek on my Instagram if you follow me, but this is my finished Wool and Honey sweater by Andrea Mowry, Drea Renee Knits, and I altered it a little bit. I decided to do full sleeves. I just don't like 3/4 sleeves, and oh, you're not gonna be able to see. I decided to make a full length, and I think it's so cute. Oh, look at that squat. And you can see some of the yoke detail here. Look at it. And this is in the Hedwig colorway by Explorer Knits and Fibers on her Cashmere Cavern Space. This sweater is so cozy, guys. I don't have that many fingering weight sweaters and like full length sweaters. I know I have 1, 2, I think, before this. The rest are all cropped or DK weight, which are super cozy and I love them. But 2 or 3 weeks ago, I put on a fingering weight sweater and was like, why am I not knitting more of these? And that like lit a fire under my butt. I was like, I'm cranking this out. I'm getting it done. This has been in my stash for a while because I wanted this sweater, and I got it done, and I don't want to take it off. I've literally worn it like 3 times already. I love that the variegation and speckles are light enough that I wasn't sure how it would feel, how it would look with this slip stitch kind of honeycomb detail. I think a lot of times you see solids and tonals, but I really, really like it. I love it. I'm obsessed. The cashmere is so soft. I could basically live in the sweater, and I probably will. If you don't wear a sweater like every day for the week after you finish it, I don't know. I think you should think about what you did, because if you don't love it that much, I just feel sad, because sweaters should be worn and you should love your sweater that much to wear it. That's all. That's my soapbox. I knit it with the needles that it called for, a 4 and a 3 for the ribbing. I made a Ravelry page, but I could weigh it. I'm really being lazy. I don't remember if I had 3 or 4 balls of this yarn. I thought I had 3, but one of them was caked into 2 half skeins. I'm not sure why. I know this was originally cast on for something else. I don't know why, but I ended up alternating skeins because they were definitely from 2 different dye lots. But I have a good amount of this yarn left, which I usually wouldn't for a full length, full sleeve sweater. So I'm thinking maybe I had 4, but I don't know. I'm gonna try and weigh it and put it in my Ravelry project. If you have questions and you can access Ravelry As always, feel free to message me on Instagram. That's probably where I'm most active. Yeah, I really love it. I'm definitely going to be making more. I love the fit. It was really fun to do the garter and the round. I didn't think I was gonna like purling that much, but it was pretty mindless. I don't mind purling so much. Honestly, I did helical knitting, which is pretty simple, but that felt like the most, I don't even want to say annoying, but I just had to pay attention a little bit more than I would normally because I was alternating. And honestly, if they were from the same dye lot, I probably wouldn't have alternated. I might have just between skeins when I was running low, like started fading into the other one. The only reason I did is because I knew that there were separate dye lots and I knew they were pretty different. Like I knew one was mostly gray and speckled and the other two or three, I think two, had a lot of brown in it, which was really pretty. It just wasn't in the one skein, so I made sure to alternate. Yeah, that's all I have to say about this. I took some really fun FO photos with my sister at the beach. So again, those will be up on my Instagram soon. Cool, that's FO number 1. If these were an old FO, I won't count them. FO number 2, you've seen this sweater before. Brie, what are you talking about? Did you make the same sweater? No, I didn't, but this is my Flax by Tin Can Knits. This is for my nephew. And I gave it to him and it fits really well, but the sleeves were a little short. Problematically short? No, but I prefer them to be longer, especially so he can get more wear out of them. So I did a little surgery. I picked out the tubular bind off. I added like an extra inch of this tan, and then I wanted to do as much length as I could, and I literally used every last yard of this tan. And so then I decided to do one row and the bind off in the blue, which I thought was really cute because I know when I asked CJ to pick out colors, he wanted a full sweater in blue and green. I added the tan because I had it and I didn't have enough of the blue or green to do totally. I figured they would be one of the contrasts, so I thought he would enjoy having little blue edges. If you want to see a picture of this again, on my Instagram, he is 4, but he's pretty tiny. And so I ended up making, I don't know, if you check back a few videos, you could see my journey with this. I originally was making the smaller size on a smaller needle, actually, because I wasn't getting gauge, but I did not like the fabric that created, so I went back up to the 8 that they suggested. And then after talking to my sister, I decided to stay for the 4-year-old size. If it was a little big, that would be fine, but it actually fits him really well. And I think will fit him well through the winter, hopefully through February. Like I said, he's pretty tiny, so I can't imagine he will grow too much too quickly. And this is all stash yarn that I had lying around. I'm pretty sure it's all impeccable, which I believe is a loops and thread worsted weight yarn that I got from Michael's a very long time ago, but I thought it was fun to color block that. Yeah, I think that's it. The neck looks a little wide, but I know that's just the style of the neck, and I imagine it's helpful to get over little kids' heads. But it was a really simple pattern. I enjoyed it a lot. I did the garter ridges down the sleeves, and I just think it was really cute. It flew off the needles too, even with having to go back in and do surgery. So that's FO number 2, 1.5, because it was mostly done. But it's still an FO, right? Now, what I'm whipping on this Whip Wednesday, I actually have a few things, which is pretty rare for me. I don't normally have too many whips on the needles at once. But let's start with, let's go oldest to newest. So this is in my Belcher family bag, Mrs. Brown's bag. I think it's a medium tote, maybe a medium bucket. And I have a test knit in here, which you may have seen on my Instagram if you follow me, when I just had the the yoke done before I separated for sleeves. I did like a flat lay kind of photo. And this is my test for Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits, Bad Wolf Girl Studios, Bad Wolf Girl Designs, Megan, over on her channel. And this is, I don't know if she's officially released the title, but I think she's calling it the Mini Santa's Elves sweater. Basically, it's a really cute child sweater with a bunch of different colorwork charts that you can kind of mix and match, and almost, I think she always says like choose your own adventure sweater, and I think that's really fun. And so I decided to test because I have 2 little ones in my life that I can knit for. No, it's not me. But one is Michael's niece, and she is about to be a year old, about a month from now, almost exactly, a little less than a month from now. And so I figured it would be really sweet to make her a sweater for her birthday, but was Christmas themed so that she could wear it through December. So I decided to do that, and her mom has a very similar style to me, I think, doesn't necessarily do a lot of brights, likes a lot of neutrals. So I decided to go with like a softer, more neutral, toned down, earth tone sort of Christmas sweater, and I really, really, really love it. So this is the 18-month size, and I decided, oh my gosh, just to do this little tree, Christmas tree, but I guess it could be any sort of snowy tree motif. It's like blending in with the chair, which is funny. Can you tell what one of my favorite colors is? The main color is my beach grass colorway and birthday suit for the color work. It's so cute. Oh my gosh. Can you picture what it would look like adult size? Look how cute that is. Okay. Maybe I need one of these in this exact color because it's so cute. And I'm pretty much done with the body, to be honest. I had almost a full skein. I had, I think, 87 grams when I cast this on. I had a second skein. I just hadn't caked it up yet from the same dye lap. And so I ran out while I was on the body ribbing. I had like a few rows left. And so I put that aside for a little bit. This has the apple cider donut progress keeper from Little Bitty Delights. Amanda, again, her donuts are so cute, and they're on like all of my projects right now because I'm obsessed with them. And I, like I said, caked up finally the second skein of yarn that I will dip into to finish the very bottom of the body ribbing and work on the sleeves. And honestly, once I pick this back up, this should fly in one day. This should be done. And I do want to get this done because I might be using this yarn. I might be for another sweater that I'm going to be test knitting. I dyed up some of the main color for myself. I'll talk about it later. And I'm playing around with some color ideas for some of the color work. But I might be using the rest of this because I will use very little of this. And I had like less than 30 grams of this birthday suit. It was left over from another sweater. And I still have probably 20 grams here. So that's cool. And that's in my bag with my pink peppermint tuft woolens wool wash. Which is just perfect for a nice Christmas sweater. Oh, I really, really love that one. That's probably my most used bar, to be honest. Like as far as being in my bags and that I actually use to wash my sweaters and block my stuff. So that's whip number 1. Super excited about it. It's adorable. Whip number 2. This yarn is old. And when I say old, I mean one of the first batches of yarn that I ever dyed. So maybe a year and a half. And it's on a base that I don't carry in my shop anymore. It is a fingering weight 2-ply, 100% Highland wool. So it's a little bit more scratchy. It has more of a hand or like a tooth to it. And I decided not to continue it, honestly, because it just wasn't as popular as some of my other bases. Doesn't mean it's gone forever, but just for now. But I had some of these skeins dyed up and knew I would use them for a sweater one day. I had them set aside for a very long time, and I figured I would hold them double and make a weekender. Well, I held on to the yarn so long that in the time I was waiting, Andrea came out with a weekender light, which was perfect because I really prefer a fingering weight sweater. It was shortly after I had casted this on and just fell back in love with fingering weight sweaters, and I just didn't have to hold a double. Why not? So this is my weekender light. This was like a first iteration of rusted spokes. I've talked about this a little bit more. You'll notice it doesn't look like my normal rusted spokes. It's way more orange. Let me see if I can show you. So this is like a more recent version of rusted spokes. See how like deep and red and I don't know, like rich this is? Look at this. This is a different colorway. That's a totally different colorway. And so what I'm thinking of doing is keeping rusted spokes the deep, rich color it is. But I'm thinking about rebranding this and maybe something fall like pumpkin-y. I don't know, it just reminds me of pumpkins. And so it's a kind of muted burnt orange. It's exactly roasted pumpkin, something like that. But that's what this is that's what this is worked up with. And you will see, like I said, I have Amanda's charms on everything. There is a glazed donut by Amanda at Little Bitty Delights. And I'm just chugging along on the body here. If you've seen the sweater before, you know it's worked inside out because it's reverse stockinette with like this really cool slip stitch faux seam detail. And so you work it inside out so you don't have to do all the purling, and then you just turn it inside out. Let's see, can you see that? Yeah, perfect. So that's what it looks like. I'm knitting, I have a decent amount done. It has a split hem at the bottom. I want it to be really long and cozy. Really long and cozy. It comes like, boop shop. Probably a few more inches, maybe 3 more inches before I split for the front and the back. To be honest, I did not swatch with this, but it's not a super washi yarn, so I don't think it's going to grow that much. And like I said, I'd rather it be longer and cozier than shorter. So maybe 3 more inches or so, and then I will split and I have a bunch more yarn. I'm definitely not going to use this all because I have 4 more skeins. And I do not use 5 skeins of fingering weight yarn to make a fingering weight sweater. I use like 3. So I'll have about 2 more skeins to do something cool with. So that's exciting. And I really like this yarn. It's not scratchy. It's pretty soft. It just is woolly, which I really like. And maybe I'll use it for some color work projects in the future. I have some like Lopi and some other more rustic yarns that I think could be really fun to do something with like that. Oh, and this is in. I'm knitting this on the recommended needle size, size 4. I think the ribbing was size 3. Again, typical fingering weight for my gauge. And this is hanging out in a custom bag by the Prickly Owl Co. Her bags are amazing. It's like this canvas and she stamps. And a while ago when I was living in El Paso, I was getting ready to leave, maybe about halfway through. I asked if she could make me a custom cactus bag with this like flannel, almost really thick material at the bottom that reminded me of like the Southwest and some of those like indigenous like tapestries or just that fabric that you see sometimes for like ponchos. And I really, really love it. It has this fun little tassel, I guess you could call this. And it's a zipper pull, a rusted orange zipper pull, so it's perfect. And I actually don't take this out because I'm worried about ruining it. So I just keep it in a little caddy next to the couch and it stays there and I get to look at it all the time. So this sweater has really just either been an at-home sweater or I throw this small skein that I'm working on, the skein and the start of the sweater, into another project bag and just take it on the go with me. So that is whip number 2. I'm going to stop and restart because sometimes my camera cuts out and it hasn't done it yet, but I'm getting nervous. It's also getting dark outside. Can you see? But I'm almost done, so that's okay. Okay, so we just finished talking about my whip number 2, my Weekender Light by Andrew Mowry, and let's talk about whip number 3, my final whip, which is a good thing because I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed from all of these and I need to prioritize. So I think I'm going to finish up whip number 3 today or tomorrow, and then probably finish up my test for Megan, and then have my Weekender just kind of hanging out. I'm not in any rush to get that done. Once Megan's is done, once at least one of these socks, whip number 3, then I'll cake up my yarn for the other test that I have going and maybe swatch to get ready and start for that because I really just cannot decide on yarns. I'm trying to work from stash. So I dyed up my main colorway, but I want to use stash. I have a whole, can you see this? One of these whole bins right down, it's behind this sign so you can't see it. It is completely full, like stuffed full, like in a cartoon when you open the closet and everything just falls out. That's what this cubby looks like. And that's ridiculous. I should just use some of this yarn. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do a lot of gifts. I'm really gonna try and use it in some of my whips and plan some sweaters. Plan some sweaters for myself, for Michael, for Sophia, for the babies, with some of that stash. Okay, anyway, back to it, whip number 3. It's a sock. Like I said, what sock is it, you ask? It's a new design. What design is it, you ask? It's a design for the 3rd month of the Gilmore Girls Club. Who's the 3rd month? Oh yes, Rory. So you're going to see a new design, but you're also going to see her colorways for the first time live on film. I posted about it on Instagram today. I'm getting close because this is important. And this is in a signature bag that I have from Sandy by the lakeside. I bought it for myself this summer. It's this really cute tassel, like faux leather, suede maybe, tassel. This is just a really soft, sweet bag with a little gingham plaid on the inside. So that's where it is. This is it. And oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, I feel like I need to adjust the light a bit. Now, let's see. This might make it worse. Oh no, there we go. Cool. So this is the yarn for the 3rd month of the Gilmore Girl Club. My Rory colorways. Her main skein, the main colorway here, this blue, it's like obviously mirrors Lorelai's colorway, Lorelai's design, because Rory is a lot like her mother with like a different flair and twist, like a softer, more delicate kind of character traits. I don't know, whatever. But you'll see that in the yarn. So this yarn is like a silvery gray into a pale blue and a brighter blue, and then this dark coffee color with speckles, this like berry sort of speckle that ties in a bit of Lorelai, obviously. And so if you saw my Oi with the Poodles Already Socks, this design mirrors it again, like I said, with like a softer, more sophisticated kind of touch. Not as in your face as I think Lorelai is. So it starts with a 1x1 rib in my coffee colorway, because Rory loves coffee just as much as Lorelai does. Goes into the main skein, and you'll see here, instead of the baubles like Lorelai's sock, there's some really sweet eyelets. You can probably see it better when you have it on. You can see them. And then instead of like the garter chevron, it goes into a little I was saying fan and feather. Did some research, feather and fan. It is not feather and fan. It's actually old shale. And apparently they're misused. A lot of patterns and websites call this feather and fan, but it's not. So this is an old shale. There you go. Little lace section, very, very basic lace. Just 3 rows of lace, 3 or 4 rows, depending on your size. And it just is a sweet, softer, more delicate little texture there. And that's in the Handsome Dan colorway. Handsome Dan is the mascot for Yale, the bulldog. And so that felt fitting. And it goes back into the main colorway. And then, can we talk about this heel flap? If y'all haven't noticed yet, I kind of have a thing for heel flaps. My flannel shirt socks had a really cool heel flap that continued the design. My Lorelei socks, my Oi with the Poodle socks, had the garter heel flap because it really matched the design. And I feel like sometimes people just do like a stereotypical reinforced heel flap and gusset. And it's kind of like a throwaway, and people don't think about how it can be used in the pattern. And don't get me wrong, like sometimes that's really simple, sophisticated, that's what you want. But I think the heel flap is a really cool part of the sock that can be used to tie in some other design elements. And it shouldn't always be a throwaway. So this heel flap is, I think this is something, I don't think I made this up. I thought it was Eye of Partridge. I was calling it an Eye of Partridge, but when I looked up Eye of Partridge, it didn't look like this. So if y'all know what it's called, let me know. I kind of just played around with it until it looked like what I wanted it to, or what I imagined in my head. Yes, there you go. It looks almost like mermaidy, kind of. And I think it's delicate and soft, and mimic some of like the really round, lacy texture in the rest of this sock. And so I literally cast this sock on last night. I did the ribbing and I knit to here. As you can see from my progress keeper from Little Bitty Delights, is it going to focus? It's a textbook. Check out my Instagram, you'll see it. It's a textbook and it has a little Harvard flag and a Yale flag that's a little bit bigger, and a strawberry pop chart, of course. And I'm not exactly sure what Amanda's calling this one, but it's so perfect and it goes really well with, I think these colorways, these colorway names, and just, I love it with the sock. It's so perfect. But so I did that yesterday. I did all of this today, and I had ripped this out a few times figuring it out. I had ripped this heel flap out a bunch of times, and so honestly, I would like to get through the heel turn and the gusset tonight. Maybe get up to the toe. I have a small foot, so it doesn't take that long. And I have some ideas of what I want to do with the toe. There's going to be some eyelets. I don't know if I'm going to bring the old shell back, but I want to do something. Again, that's not just a throwaway, oh, this is another toe. Like this one, I think you can see that garter toe, I think really picks up some other elements of the sock. So that's the plan. I put a tester call up today and spots are almost full. I think I still need some 72 stitch testers, although by the time this is up, it might be full. If you're interested, reach out on Instagram and I'll let you know. There are going to be more designs in the future, so even if it's full, that's okay. Don't be discouraged. There'll always be another time. Okay. But that went out today. I'm hoping to have these out mid-November and kind of keep on my schedule. The Lorelei socks are a little bit late, like a week late, really. But life happens. I know you'll understand. And so those will be the 3 sock patterns. Some things that are also in the works that I didn't even bring here with me, but I showed you last time. I'm just going to stay down here because I'm kind of comfy. So I showed you last time my flannel shirt hat. That should be done by the end of the month. So I'm hoping, here's my kind of schedule. This also takes me a bit out of whips and into like shop stuff and what's coming next. Pattern designing. I guess this is like my design section. So Oi with the Poodle Socks will be out this Friday. Next Friday, hopefully next Friday, but maybe next Saturday, maybe it'll be a Halloween release, will be my Flannel Shirt Hat. About 2 weeks later will be my Don't Mock My Pro Con List socks. And then, I guess I'll share this. I have not shared this publicly yet, I don't think. Maybe I did on here last time. Maybe I'm a big fat liar. But I'm in the process of working on a Lorelei inspired hat. So we had the flannel shirt socks, the flannel shirt hat. I want to do the Oi with the Poodles Already socks and an Oi with the Poodles Already hat. And maybe shawl. Don't quote me on that. That will not be anytime soon. Maybe next year. And then there will be Don't Mock My Pro Con List socks and Don't Mock My Pro Con List hat. For those who just like something a little different. And I think the cool thing about what I'm doing with these, especially Lorelei and Rory's, is that they're interchangeable. The stitch counts are the same. I'm making the pattern repeat counts. If not the same, at least like an even multiple so you can replace it. So if you really like the baubles and this old shell, do it. You can get both patterns and totally mix it up. Maybe you hate this heel, or maybe you hate a garter flap heel. Get both of them. Do the baubles, do maybe the baubles, maybe this lace, and then maybe you want to do the garter heel flap. Like, you could totally mix and match, and I think that's what's going to make these patterns really fun. And hopefully, my plan is that the same thing would happen for the hat. So there'll be a bit of like a mix and match element of insert either this chevron here or this lace here, and then you can either do baubles or eyelets or mix them and do like here you want to do a row of baubles and then a row of eyelets and mix and match. I think it'll be really fun, kind of like a choose your own adventure hat. And I'm thinking I'm going to keep them separate patterns just for it to honestly make it easier for myself, because I still feel new at this. But I'm going to keep the pay what you can. And so I imagine I'll try and get it down to, like if you use the coupon for both of them to pay the lowest amount, it will be like buying 2 for 1, or at least like buy one, get 150% off. So if they're normally say $6 each, hopefully the lowest amount would be $3 or $4. So you could buy 2 of them for $6 or $8. So not very much more than a single pattern. That's my plan. I'm thinking out loud is helping me get through that. So keep an eye out for these things. This kit is in the shop. I snuck it up there today, which is super exciting. It won't be as limited as the Lorelei charm, yarn and charm was, just because the charms for that needed some extra materials, and it's too difficult to try and get things during COVID, not wanting to promise things that we couldn't fulfill. So Rory will have a little bit of a wider market, and I'm hoping to keep that up until November 1st. And then those will get dyed up, sent out, same kind of schedule. By the second week, hopefully mid-November, the pattern will be released. And then afterward, the colors will be available as separate colorways if you want them. The charm will not be available anymore, at least on my end. Amanda may choose to do the charms at another point in time in her shop. I keep meaning to ask her and forgetting. So Amanda, if you see this, let me know. But this will be the only time you'll be able to get the yarn and charm together and get the free pattern included. So if you know you're going to buy it, why not, right? Yeah, okay, so that's what's coming up in design land. Other things to talk about, I think I talked about the self-care collaborative. I guess the only other thing to talk about is some yarns that are in the shop. I have a little pile of yarns right there on that table that I will grab that are either new colorways or just orders that I was packaging up this afternoon that seemed really fun that I wanted to show y'all. Look at this rusted spokes. Look how perfect it is. Oh my gosh. Okay. And this is on my Opti base. It's worsted. I really, really love this. I have 2 skeins of this. I actually, sidebar, before I show you that yarn, I have a bunch of ready to ship yarn. All of the yarn in my shop is listed as dyed to order because most of it is dyed to order. When I dye things, I pretty much dye up a small batch. If it's a variegated or speckled or something that basically I have to dye in a pan, I do things in batches of 3. And so a lot of times I'll have extra skeins or different bases that I'll throw in there so I can make an order. And then those just end up on my shelves until someone buys them. If it's a solid, a semi-solid, or a tonal, the process is a little bit different. Those are typically dyed to order. But that means I have so much yarn that's ready to go. And I know sometimes people are like browsing and maybe like between 2 bases and not sure which they want. They choose one. Little did they know I had the other one ready to ship. And so I'm thinking about maybe doing a virtual trunk show of some sorts. I know I was supposed to have a trunk show at the New Jersey Wool Walk and it just didn't happen this year because of COVID and some, you know, family stuff that happened. But I don't know. Would y'all want to do that? Like, leave me a comment below. Let me know. Would you want to do a virtual trunk show? I would still have you go through Etsy, but you would just know what was available in stock, ready to ship. So if you're just wanting a fun sock set, you can see these are all the sock sets that I have in shop ready to go, or the single skeins that I have ready to go. I also have a few like one-of-a-kind colorways that I just don't feel like creating a listing for, to be honest, because I'm being a little lazy. But like some of those I could throw in there. And if it's your cup of tea and something that you're looking for, you could kind of snag it that way. I don't know. I'm just thinking about it. It feels silly to take up all this space when I know for me, if I know something is ready to ship and it's already dyed up, it's going to just slide into my cart a little bit quicker than if it has to get dyed up and I have to wait for it, or sometimes it feels like there's a time crunch and I really want something ASAP for a test knit or a gift. And so I thought if it would be helpful for y'all to know that, I'm happy to set aside a time and maybe do an Instagram live or a live on YouTube. Let me know. Let me know if I do a virtual trunk show. 1, would you be interested? 2, like, I guess what would you be looking to do? Just like see some of my colorways, see some of my combinations. I think it's a good way to like see some combinations that I would put together. Like, oh, I'm looking for 3 skeins for a shawl. Like, what would you suggest? And I could throw some things together. And if I did that, do you prefer YouTube or Instagram? Yeah, let me know. I'm willing to do it, but if it's not helpful, I don't need to, for sure. Certainly, it would be for y'all and not for me. So, all of that to say, I'll show you some of this yarn now. Okay, you've already seen some of it. I dropped something somewhere. Maybe not. So you already saw, this is the Rory sock set. Skeined up. This is this is what she tackles, she conquers. For those of you who've seen the show, Richard Gilmore's words about Rory to Emily, Handsome Dan, and Coffee, Coffee, Coffee. Look at that sock set. It's so cute. Oh, I love it. And so that's my sock yarn. This is on my DK. And I love my DK base, y'all. So much. So these are in the shop. As kits, they're pre-orders, so you won't get them right away. Oh, my phone's dying. I need to hurry up. Some other things that are going out. So I was contacted last week, some point, by a knitter who is actually really local to me, just about a town over, maybe 15-minute drive, who I've never met before, but she found my yarn. I'm not even sure how. And she's thinking about designing a hat, which I'm super excited about. And I don't know if it's supposed to be a secret, but I feel like I can say it. I just won't tell you who it is. They're going to be designing like a Grinch-inspired beanie or hat, which I think is so, so cute. So they saw troll boogies on mohair and they were like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. How do you think it would go with prickly and bloom? I wasn't home, so I couldn't take pictures, but I was like, oh, I think that would actually be really great. I've thought about this color combination before to do like a green fade. Green is not my palette, but if you're a green person, Oogie Boogie into troll boogies, into prickly and bloom could be a really sweet fade. Even into beach grass at the end of that, and there's one in between that I'm playing around with that's like an algae kind of color. That's just a little bit more green, a greener version of beach grass, not as like muddy. Like it doesn't have the dark gray, black like kind of overtone. But that could be really fun for you. So I was like, oh, I think it would be really great. I think the lighter mohair would create really nice depth, and then those pink pops would be adorable. So I sent her pictures once I got home, and she went ahead and bought them, and I'm going to send them out to her, and I cannot wait to see the hat that this makes, because it's going to be so Grinchy and so perfect. I just think it's really adorable. I'm so excited for this. Also, this like looks really bright. I mean, it's bright, but like that's blown out. It is not that bright. It's more like that. That's a more accurate representation. Maybe not. That's still a little bright. It's supposed to do with a lighter color, right? There you go. It looks like that. Cool. That's going out the door. Another order that I was packaging up today that I was like, this is so beautiful and I want to know what this is going to make is calaveras on my 420 base. Really fun, light, speckled colorway inspired by Dia de los Muertos. Being in El Paso, learning some of the culture and celebrating. So on my 420 base and my cloud base, which I just love speckles on this base. Look at it. Ah, I love it. It's so scrumptious. And a skein of butterbeer on my 420 base. And I don't know what this is going to be. Do y'all have any guesses? But it is so cute. So stinking cute. And bright and fun, but also like soft enough to like be fall or winter or spring or like definitely summer. It will really go with anything. But I'm packaging this up tonight. I'm packaging this up tonight. And they'll go out the door tomorrow. Whew. Okay, I think that's everything. That was longer than I thought it was going to be. I don't really have any more blabber because I've talked a lot already. And to be honest, I'm a bit tired. And that's okay. So I'm going to sign off. Keep an eye out on my Instagram for some of the upcoming designs and patterns and testing calls and all of that. Check out the shop, thelittlewolf.etsy.com. I'll put these things in the description below. If you want any of the Rory Yarn and Charm kits or just any of the colorways we talked about, let me know in the comments below about a virtual trunk show and if you'd be interested. And let me know what you're working on. I enjoy coming to y'all and that y'all are willing to sit and hang out with me for a little bit, but I also want to hear what you're doing, what's going on in your world. I think that's why I like Instagram. I like following people and staying involved and seeing what they're making and what they're creating. I definitely like doing Facebook Live. Sometimes it's just harder. That's really a lie. It's actually quite easy to do a YouTube Live. Did I say YouTube? But the quality is not as great. The picture is not as great. And so hopefully this works out a little bit better. But yes, comment down below. Let me know what you're working on. Let me know what you're thinking. And thank you for hanging out with me if you made it this long. If you're new and this is the first time you're spending some time with me, welcome. Thanks for hanging out for this last hour. And if you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back every 2 or so weeks when I get around to it. Thank you for all your support. I hope that everybody is safe. I hope that everybody is healthy. I hope that everybody is still fighting a good fight in whatever way that looks like for you and for your people and for your family, born or chosen. And yeah, with that, I'll sign off. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I'll see you guys next time.